If you're a woman over 30 who's struggling to lose weight, it's not your fault, because in this brief video, I'm going to explain in layman's terms how a recent discovery from scientists at the University of Washington made about how a discrete mechanism inside of the human brain can completely block your ability to lose weight. And more importantly, I'll show you how thousands of women armed with this new information are leveraging it to slim down and lose weight faster than they ever have before. And studies also reveal how this tiny part of our brain is often the reason why women who swear they've tried it all and have done everything right are stuck and unable to lose weight. Now, what exactly am I talking about? Well, scientists are calling it the Metabolic Control Center. And if you're not 100% certain that you understand this, or that you're already doing everything you possibly can to harness the power of this new discovery, then this video is for you, because I'm gonna break down exactly what the Metabolic Control Center is, how it's affecting millions of women's lives without them even knowing it, and how you can take charge of this little mechanism and tweak it to burn off excess fat while you sleep. But before we go any further, I'm Austin, and you're probably wondering, what the heck does a 30-year-old man know about losing weight as a 40, 50, or even 60-year-old woman? Well, you see, I didn't choose to dive into women's health, it chose me. Growing up, my mom struggled with her health. Hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's, weight gain, 5 to 6 debilitating migraines every single week. She went from chasing dreams to just trying to get through the day. And life started to live her instead of her living life. And it broke my heart to see that. And no matter how many doctors she saw, medications she took, or just cookie cutter plans they threw at her, nothing worked. We were stuck, frustrated, and running in circles. Maybe you feel the same exact way right now. Maybe you're no longer confident or comfortable in your own skin. Maybe you don't have the energy to go out and do the things that you love anymore. Or maybe you just aren't feeling like yourself and you just feel like life is living you instead of you living life. Well, I just want you to know that you're not alone. Then there's my grandma. She was healthy, active, full of life, all the way up until the weight gain started. And then everything changed. She lost her health, she got a couple strokes, then she got cancer, and then unfortunately we lost her. And she never got to see my brother grow up. She never saw me become the man that I am today. She missed it all. And that loss still echoes through my family. Seeing the two most important women in my life battle their health, it made all of this personal, and it lit a fire inside of me, because I've seen what happens when a woman suffers because of her health and doesn't get the help that she deserves in time. So I took matters into my own hands, and I vowed that I would do everything I possibly could to make sure no one else has to experience the same things that they did. So I dedicated the last 10 years of my life learning everything I could about women's health, weight loss, metabolism, hormones, gut health, and everything else that controls how a woman's body stores and burns fat. And as a result of extensive research and real-world experience of personally coaching 2,256 women to help them reclaim their health and release the weight, I've learned that the secret isn't in calories in versus calories out, it's in regulating your metabolic control center. It's how I helped Amy, who was a very busy nurse and mom who had such bad health that her lifespan was literally getting shorter by the day, lose over 100 pounds. Or Ashley, who hated what she saw in the mirror and felt embarrassed all the time, lose 35 pounds without having to work out. Or Brooke, who didn't have the energy to keep up with her kids and play with them, lose 30 pounds in 4 months. Or Nicole, who felt so self-conscious about her weight that she stopped taking photos and hanging out with her friends, to then transforming and losing tons of inches all over and finally feeling like herself again. But if that's not enough, I'm not here to claim anything. Everything that you're about to hear is proven by the top universities, scientists, and doctors in the world. No claims, no predictions, just cold hard facts. And I got the studies to prove it. So you can finally read through the weight loss lies, discover why no diet has ever worked for you, and lose the fat for good. Deal? Now, I want you to imagine that you're out to sea with none other than Captain Jack Sparrow, all right? And in an attempt to search for treasure with him, you gotta anchor the boat to the bottom of the seas. So you toss the anchor overboard and the boat stays motionless in the water. Heavy tides may sway the boat from side to side, but the boat always finds its way back to the center. That's a lot like your body, all right? So remember that little part of your brain that I mentioned earlier in this video? Well, that's called the hypothalamus. And according to the scientists over at the Cleveland Clinic, this tiny part of your brain controls controls your hunger, mood, metabolism, hormones, body temperature, sex drive. It pretty much controls everything. And just like the anchor of the ship, its job is to keep your body in balance, all right? That's why no matter how hard you diet or how much you exercise, it'll always bring you back to your set point. So the secret is to not fight against our body, it's to just simply move the anchor. And without getting too deep into the science, researchers at the University of Washington have discovered you can recalibrate your hypothalamus to a lighter weight, a weight that could be 10, 20, or in some cases 100 pounds lighter than you are right now. So instead of fighting against your body, the weight just falls off, because unless you move the anchor, the hypothalamus will sabotage your weight loss with a 1-2 punch that'll bring anyone to their knees. First, what it's going to do, it's going to cause your body to release hunger hormones. So you've probably heard of starvation mode. Well, starvation mode's a real thing, and so the less you eat, the stronger this signal gets. That's why the longer you diet, the hungrier you get, and it's just not sustainable, and you can only fight it off for so long. And this is why dieting doesn't just fail you, but it actually betrays you. In fact, a comprehensive meta-analysis at UCLA, they confirmed this. They discovered that for most people, dieting does not lead to sustained weight loss or health benefits. And you've probably felt this firsthand. You go and lose a few pounds, but then you gain it all back a couple months later. Your metabolism slows down, your energy's gone, and the scale just keeps climbing up. You then start to avoid mirrors, you maybe pull back from photos, events, maybe even intimacy, not because you want to, but just because you don't feel like yourself anymore. You're doing everything right, yet somehow you're feeling worse. And it doesn't matter if you eat the same low-calorie diet or exercise on the treadmill for hours, you're never going to get off this weight loss roller coaster until you go deeper and you fix the root cause of why your body's holding on to fat. And that's why the Biggest Loser contestants, a lot of them regained the weight they had lost despite losing well over 100 pounds. And I wish this wasn't true, but researchers from the National Institute of Health, they released a study where they followed 14 former Biggest Loser contestants over the course of 6 years. So this was a really long, in-depth study, and they discovered that the participants had gained most of the weight they had lost on the show, and in some cases they put on even more. But it's not just what you eat, all right? So according to the Molecular Medicine Journal, your hypothalamus will cause you to burn fewer calories as well. So this is why a lot of people, they feel like their metabolism has slowed down, except it's not your metabolism, all right? It's your hypothalamus. Now, this isn't to say you're doomed, not at all. The secret's just to move the anchor and to recalibrate your hypothalamus to fight to lose weight. So that way when traditional diets fail and they set you up for rebound weight gain, the few who do this right, they keep the weight off for good. This was the case for Amy. So Amy came to us. She was a very busy nurse. She was a medical professional. She was a mom. And before coming to us, she tried everything under the sun and nothing was working until we recalibrated her hypothalamus. When we did that, she lost over 100 pounds as soon as we recalibrated her hypothalamus. And there's Ashley. She came to us. She was working 12-hour night shifts 4 times a week, and we got her and helped her recalibrate her hypothalamus. She lost 40 pounds, and we didn't even have to do a single workout with her. Or Jessica, she was stuck for 5 years trying to figure this out on her own. She lost 30 pounds without giving up pizza or wine night with the girls because that was really important to her. And so here's where things get exciting and where you're going to want to pay close attention to, all right? Because new research shows there's just one of 3 reasons your hypothalamus is working against you, all right? So the truth is, the hypothalamus is not the villain I've made it out to be, all right? I might be kind of making it a villain, but in reality, it can be your best friend and trigger your metabolism to go into turbo mode. So you not only lose the weight, but you actually keep it off for good, because that's the goal, right? And so when it's working for you, it'll keep you lean and toned effortlessly, even if you pick out on the foods that you wouldn't dare to eat right now. And it's actually why your skinny friends can eat whatever they want and never gain a pound. That's the secret. Just move the anchor and trigger your hypothalamus to fight to lose weight and to work with you, not against you. Again, this isn't theory, all right? This has been proven through real-world testing of working with over 2,000 women so far, helping them take back control of their health and weight. Just like we did with Kimberly, who lost 48 pounds as soon as she recalibrated her hypothalamus, or Rachel, who lost 31 pounds with us, or Heather, who in only 19 weeks, we were able to help her lose 50 pounds, all because we helped her recalibrate her hypothalamus. So if you want to move your metabolic anchor back 10 pounds in the next 30 days, there are 3 enemies that you have to overcome, all right? The more you get these under control, the easier weight loss will get. So are you ready? Number one is inflammation, all right? So according to the European Journal of Endocrinology, inflammation is one of the root causes of weight gain for women over 30. Now, when I say inflammation, I'm not talking about like the bruise on your knee, all right? So I'm talking about inflammation that you don't even feel, that runs in the background deep inside of your body, all right? Now, this kind of inflammation, what it does is it disrupts the signals your hypothalamus sends to fat cells. So instead of your fat cells releasing fat like they should when you diet and exercise, your cells remain unresponsive. And so this is why so many people, they have stubborn fat around their waist, their belly, their hips, their love handles, their thighs, that just simply won't budge no matter what you do. And according to a study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism, if you carry weight around your midsection, it's a very strong indicator that has more to do with your hypothalamus and hormones and very little to do with how much you eat or how much you're working out. Now, what's causing this inflammation within our bodies? Well, according to the biomedical department at UC Irvine, they have a name for it. So they call it the obesogenic environment, but let's just call it the modern world, filled with inflammatory foods, pollutants, and chemicals, and just a ton of things that were not here back when our parents and grandparents were our age. And so we have a ton of hidden rancid oils found in comfort foods. We have high stress work environments. We have hormone disrupting chemicals found in our perfumes, our beauty products, and just everyday household items that completely throw your hormones for a loop. And this is why it's so hard to lose weight, even if you feel like you're doing everything right. It's because our bodies are constantly under attack and from all directions. So getting rid of these inflammatory triggers is critical if you want to recalibrate your hypothalamus and lose the fat for good. This was the case for Heather, all right? So Heather came to us and we discovered that she had some inflammation issues going on with her body. So once she addressed the inflammation and we reset her hypothalamus, she was able to lose 32 pounds. Same thing happened with Kimberly. She was able to lose 48 pounds and hit her goal weight after struggling for years when we were able to release the inflammation that was in her body. Now, the second reason why you're having a hard time losing weight is stress, all right? So according to the doctors over at UC San Diego, stress is another root cause of weight gain for women over 30. Now, you probably already know stress isn't too good for you, right? But do you know how much it actually affects your metabolism, hormones, and weight loss? Well, in 2015, Ohio State University sought to discover just how much does stress affect our metabolism. And so what they did is they interviewed and graded women on their stress levels before feeding them a high-calorie meal, and what they found was that the stressed women burned 104 fewer calories than those who weren't stressed. Now, that might not sound like much, right? You might be like, Austin, that doesn't sound like a big deal. However, over the course of a year, that adds an extra 11 pounds of fat onto the body. So because you're stressed out and you have stress in the body, every single year, you can potentially gain up to 11 pounds of fat every single year. Crazy, right? So how does stress actually stop weight loss? Well, without getting too deep into the science on you, the Mayo Clinic says that stress impacts your hormones. And so this is why people under stress, they either don't eat at all or they tend to snack uncontrollably, which both are bad either way. So think back to like your last breakup or the last time you had a tough day at work. It's really hard to avoid those sugary, high-calorie comfort foods, right? And hunger is just the start. So it's also going to inhibit restorative sleep, which then, if you have bad sleep, it's going to inject more fat-storing hormones into your bloodstream. And if you remember the last time you had a bad night's sleep, the very next day, hunger and sugar cravings get really bad, right? Which makes it really hard to lose weight. And so this was the case for Vicky. So once we addressed the stress in her body, we taught her how to release it, we recalibrated her hypothalamus, she was able to lose 30 pounds, and she got her confidence back, baby. Or Julie, all right? So Julie, same thing. By addressing and releasing the stress in her body, she was able to lose 30 pounds, and Julie specifically also had a couple health issues as well that was contributing to the stress inside of her body. But as soon as we recalibrated her hypothalamus, she was able to drop those 30 pounds and feel a lot better, all right? Now, the third reason why you can't lose weight right now is gut health, all right? So according to the doctors over at UCLA, gut health is one of the final root causes of weight gain for women over 30. Now, there's a reason why scientists call our gut the second brain, and we've kind of subconsciously have known this for years. I'm sure you've probably heard the old saying that goes, always trust your gut, right? Well, just like your hypothalamus, it's acting like a co-pilot that guides your metabolism, mood, and sex hormones. And so over the last few years, we've learned a lot. Like, for example, 95% of serotonin, which is the happy hormone, it's produced in the gut. And so serotonin not only boosts your mood, but it also plays a big role in stress and sleep because it helps create melatonin, which is going to help reduce stress and blunt inflammation, which is a powerful weight loss combo, right? Because we just talked about how root cause number one, stress, and the second one's inflammation, right? Now, the problem is many people unknowingly, they walk around with a damaged gut. So Harvard says up to 70% of people experience GI issues, while a survey from Fox News, they found that 74% of Americans are living with GI discomfort. And so some obvious symptoms of gut health issues is constipation, diarrhea, heartburn, indigestion, but also bloating, all right? Now, how can gut health actually affect weight loss? Well, it's not just the food you eat that's important, but it's really just the food you absorb, right? And so if you can't absorb and use the calories that you're eating, well, then you can guess what happens, right? Those calories get stored as fat, not to mention the cascade of inflammation that follows that. And so that's why Hippocrates, a famous Greek physician, once claimed all disease begins in the gut, and it very well may be a big culprit into why you can't lose weight. So what's the solution? The only way to know which root causes are keeping you stuck and how to fix them is through advanced lab testing. More specifically, hormone profiling and DNA analysis. Now, if you're a lot like the women that we work with, you go to your doctor and explain how you're feeling something's off, that the scale is moving in the wrong direction, yet you're told by your doctor, oh, your labs are normal, or there's no need to test your hormones, you just need to eat less and exercise more. But the truth is, the yearly checkups and basic blood panels that your PCP runs don't tell the whole story. For example, they're not going to check for things like reverse T3, which could tell if your body is converting thyroid hormone properly, or if it's slowing down your metabolic rate, which will keep you tired, foggy, and unable to lose weight. There's a good chance they're not going to look at your CRP marker, and this shows the level of hidden inflammation in the body, which, if left unaddressed, it's going to keep your cells in survival mode instead of fat burning mode. But it's not just about running better labs, it's about understanding the downstream cause of why you have a certain hormone or biomarker that's off. It's about connecting the dots, identifying your biological roadblocks, and then taking deliberate action to reverse them. See, weight gain is just a symptom, and until you uncover what's happening inside of your body on a biological level, no diet program, exercise routine, or weight loss medication will bring you lasting results. That's why we take a holistic approach to find the root cause of your sluggish metabolism, ravenous hunger, and stubborn body fat, because basic labs might show that something's off, but they won't tell you the root cause as to why it's off or what to do about it. Now, the second thing to understand is that your results are strongly linked to your DNA. This is why two people can follow the same exact diet and exercise plan, but only one of them gets results. Struggling to lose weight has very little to do with discipline and everything to do with how your body is wired. Every woman's body is wired differently, and so until you learn how yours responds to stress, sleep, and food, you're just gonna keep spinning your wheels. That's why having a comprehensive profile that can discover the gaps in your biology, hormones, and DNA is crucial. It's what's gonna give you a custom, accurate, and clear plan to lose the weight, keep it off, and improve your health in ways that you don't even think of anymore. Because whether you realize it or not, your current state of being is right now your default state. But I promise you, there's a better state of being out there waiting for you. One where you wake up energized, you sleep better, you feel more emotionally balanced, you're happier, you have a higher libido, and you just feel more alive. That's the power of taking a biological approach where you work with your body, not against it. And that's where we come in. We use a method called precision medicine. It's a breakthrough approach that helps women finally lose weight and take back control of their health by fixing the 3 root reasons why your body is holding on to the weight: chronic stress, systemic inflammation, and gut dysfunction. We've partnered with a licensed telehealth medical clinic that takes a holistic approach so you can lose weight by working with your body, not against it. And it's why I guarantee our system will work for you. Advanced lab tests, DNA testing, and hormone panels are all tools that we have in our tool belt so we can know exactly what's happening inside of your body on a cellular level. And so instead of a 15-minute doctor visit once a year, you'll have a dedicated health coach who helps you implement your plan and guide you through things like nutrition, movement, mindset, and accountability, all based on the data that we've uncovered from our doctors and telehealth clinic, giving you the best of both worlds. This is what traditional healthcare never does, and it's exactly why we have a 96% success rate with our clients. But before we can run any advanced testing, we need to know where your body is at right now. That's what the metabolic assessment is for. We have dozens of advanced tools in our tool belt, from hormone panels to DNA analysis to gut microbiome testing, but if we don't first map your symptoms, history, and current patterns, even the most advanced testing can send us in the wrong direction, wasting time, money, and keeping you stuck in the same cycle. That's why this first step is so critical. On this one-on-one assessment, we're gonna take a deep dive into your symptoms, history, and lifestyle, and use that data to figure out exactly which diagnostics you need to uncover your root causes. It's part strategy session, part clinical intake, and it's how we connect the dots between your current struggles and the hidden metabolic blocks that are causing them. Without this, we're just guessing. But with it, we can build a roadmap that's accurate, custom, and built specifically for how your body works. So if you're tired of trying to figure this out on your own or being gaslit by your doctor and you're ready to take action, then I want to extend to you an invitation to book a metabolic assessment down below this video. Normally, assessments like this cost around $397 in the functional medicine world. But for a few women this month, we're covering the cost entirely. This is the time for you to talk strategy and get answers. No pressure, no sales script, just a place for you to finally feel heard. So if you're ready to take the next step, click the button down below this video, answer a few questions on the next page, and schedule a time for your metabolic assessment. We'll see you on the other side.